What are some of the main mass medias that brings delinquency to kids and young adults? The first main mass media I'm going to talk about is YouTube. What is YouTube? YouTube is a mass video sharing website where people all over the world share the most random videos that there is. YouTube was developed on February 14th, 2005. How can YouTube cause delinquent behavior in young adults? Well, the reason why is YouTube, you can release anything on YouTube without it being regulated before it's been released. Even some of the most famous stars can release some of the most craziest things, and I'll give you an example of one of the most recent things that's happened on YouTube. YouTube sensation Logan Paul, with more than 16 million subscribers, he released a video about a month ago when he went on a trip to Japan. The video showed a kid that recently had hung himself in the woods of Japan, and he was laughing about it and everything. And he released it on his webpage the next day. With a person that has more than 16 million subscribers, and he gets millions and millions of views every day, and having him laugh at a suicide where most of his fan base is people under the age of 18, it does not engrave a good thing in those young adults' heads. Alright, let's get off of our topic of YouTube and move our way over to video games. The first video game that was ever made was made in 1958, and the game was called Tennis for Two. The first ever controversial mature game that was ever released was in 1973, and the video game was called Gotcha. Why was Gotcha very controversial? Well, the video game Gotcha, the whole video game was just about degrading women in every single way possible. Well, let's skip our way over to the more modern day video games where the game graphics are really insane in 4K high resolution, and there is just a whole bunch of craziness in these games, and I love playing the games too. Some of the top best selling games ever made are Battlefield, Call of Duty, Halo, GTA. There's many more, but most of those top selling video games, besides maybe like EA Sports video games, are very degrading towards women, or they can be very high end with shooting, gang, rape, a lot of sexual assault, prostitution, a lot of gore, blood, violence everywhere. Anything you can think of, it's in those video games. One of my favorite video game franchises, GTA, is definitely one of the most controversial franchise of video games ever created, and I'm going to tell you why and how it could be very bad for children. GTA is one of the best-selling franchises of all time. Well over 100 million copies sold. There's no reason why you can't understand that. Why every young kid doesn't want to play it, because well, all of his older brothers are playing it. People at school are playing it. Everybody around him is playing it. You can't deny it with over 100 million copies sold. The video game has a lot of rape, gun violence, a lot of stealing, carjacking, even the Grand Theft Auto is the title of the game. What do you expect from a game called Grand Theft Auto? When a video game has everything bad under the blue moon in the video game, how can you not expect a kid to try to reenact even some of the minor things like drinking and smoking? It's just one of those things. Even APA panelist Kevin Kiefer has a study showing that video games can lead to bad behavior at school and at home. Like the kids just don't want to help out with normal stuff like chores and stuff, and video games can lead to them wanting to act out and try to show their friends what they have learned, especially like from drinking and smoking, how they want to be just like the people in the video games, and or their older brothers playing the video games and they just want to be just like them. Alright, let's move our way over to the music industry, and let's talk about what the book calls gangsta rap and how it can lead to very bad behavior in kids. Well, let's talk a little bit about the history of rap. Rap started in New York City in the Bronx area, and around the early to mid 1970s was when the first ever feel of rap was coming alive. The first ever true gangsta rap song was in 1986, a guy out of LA called Ice-T, when he released a song called 6 in the Morning. That was like the first video, or not like video and music, that was very highly mass played on the radio waves and on big famous networks like MTV. Even in today's music, there's a lot of rappers that devalue women, show off a lot of gun violence, sexual violence. There's a very violent type of music genre, and sometimes listening into the wrong ears can result in the wrong thing. Dr. J. Delinquency did a study on right around 590 teenagers, showing that kids who listened to music that had a lot of sexual talk, a lot of gun violence talk, a lot of drug talk, is more likely to practice those things than kids that were not to listen to that type of music. Here's a nice little wrap up. We've gone through the mainstream media of YouTubers, video gamers, and the music industry. And they all basically go back to the same thing. If you're depicting some type of crazy violence or crazy activity, younger kids might want to try reenact those things or even practice those things. We're not saying every single kid is going to do it, but it does give it a little bit better of a chance that the kid might try these new things. So long and have a good day. This is Kelby Cedarquist.